In the previous episode, I sailed from Vanuatu to Ilhuon at the northern end of New Caledonia, and here I sail on to Chesterfield Reef, approximately halfway between New Caledonia and Australia, and a New Caledonia territory, doing 8.3 knots at times. I went to the bottom part of the northern part of this massive reef system, where there are a series of islands on either side, and a passage through the reefs indicated by the straight double purple lines that I could use safely to enter and depart. I beat upwind into the reef system and tacked west to my first anchorage. Note that what I call Tahiti petrels and gannets in the following clips are actually brown and masked boobies. Oh, it's Saturday, June the 22nd, and it's a very grey day. In the west, it was raining earlier. The seas are steely grey with no big waves. But we have benefited 5 days now from this high pressure zone off Australia. We started with southerly winds coming out of Vanuatu, and we were on a close reach. And after Ilhuon, we were on a beam reach, really fast sailing. Now we're on a broad reach. We're headed into Chesterfield Reef. We're just 15 miles away. And we have the promise the skies are going to help enormously inside the reef. And we are almost on a broad reach now. Last night I had a mini booby war with boobies that wanted to land on the boat, and one of them pooped all over the mainsail. Need a real rain shower to get rid of that. We are entering Chesterfield Reef. I cut the corner here. That dark blue indicates fairly shallow water, but in fact nothing less than about 100 feet. So no problem. And if you look outside, absolutely no hint of shallow water. I motor sailed upwind into the reef system and then tacked to anchor on the sheltered eastern side. Yeah, it's still Saturday the 22nd, and I am anchored in Chesterfield Reef. That's the eastern shore. There are 5 or 6 of these vegetated islands all the way up there. Then there's a bunch of sandy and also some vegetated islands on the other side. I'm going to go in here. There's a gap between these two, probably be some water come over at high tide. We've got nice southeasterlies here and just a little bit of swell. The Tahiti petrel is very impressed with how clean the bottom of the boat is. Checking us out. Yeah. Nice job, Hugh, he says. Nice job. It's king low tide, so this sandbar is completely exposed. You can see some vegetation at the end there with some birds. But this little neck between these two islands, and there are several more down there, presumably floods over at high tide. And I'll have a little bit of swell from that. But what a place, just like Ruin. Absolutely alive with birds, but here there are some bushes and trees, and so there are white noddies or fairy terns, there are frigate birds, all sorts of other birds that weren't at the other place. And there's sea change, safely anchored in about 15 feet amongst coral heads. I have a juvenile Tahiti petrel here carrying out an inspection of our anchoring setup. Yes, what do you think of it? Does it look good to you? Excellent. Oh, and the furler. The furler's good too? Most excellent. Thank you. And it is Sunday, 23rd of June. In a very cloudy day, the sun has just come out in time for me to say goodbye to these little caves on the southeastern side of Chesterfield Reef. Ah, a beautiful place, just look at it. And I'm going to go to the other side because the wind is light and it's forecast to die completely. Well, I've moved across to the other side of this reef system here. I wouldn't say I'm totally happy with the anchorage. There's a lot of coral, but and it's rolly because the swell's coming all the way through. But here's all the cays and the exposed reef all the way down the shore at low tide. Anyway, I'm going to go ashore, go through one of these gaps in these reefs. This is the cay on the other side, much bigger bushes and trees on it, and they are full of red-footed noddies nesting. See them right here, chicks, but not noddies, boobies. But then the birds flying around are mostly noddies, plus a lot of frigate birds here, and of course Tahiti petrels is the frigate birds. And a couple of gannets on the beach there. And I'm going to wander around and maybe go to the channel on the other side there if I have time when the tide comes back in. You see tea trains rolling like crazy out there. I don't think I'll be able to spend the night here. I'll probably go way to the southern tip just for the hell of it. This is the first sea slug I've found this whole trip. Just walking along the bottom. Very camouflaged, not colourful at all. And here's one on the coral or encrusted rock. You can see how well camouflaged it is. And just for good measure, here's the third one. How come I've not seen these anywhere before? So strange. This is a moray eel. It's a bigger version of the white and grey spotted one I've seen before. I'm trying to back into a hole here because I got him cornered. Yeah, I do. Hello, Mr. Hermit Crab. A colourful guy. His shell's got a hole in it though. It's not the greatest protection. Completely oblivious to me. It's just a foot away. These noddies are fun. They often fly straight at me and then at the last moment veer away. Let's see if we can get one to do it. Almost. Let's see if I stand still, maybe they'll do it. Nope. No such luck. Trees here are filled with nesting gannets and red-winged boobies. And there's also a tower here. I'm not sure what it's about. It's got a solar panel, power supply or batteries. Got an antenna, and I'm not sure what the white thing is, maybe some sort of weather instrument, I'm not sure. And you just see more and more. Here's these red-footed boobies. Look how beautiful the red feet are on this guy. Yeah, really nice. There's a little group of noddies here, not bothered by me at all, but seem to be two different sizes. Right in the middle here, there's some small ones with a very definite white top of the head, and then larger ones, at best a grey top to the head, generally nothing. Yeah, I'm on this extended sand spit here. It just goes on and on forever. I'll only walk it for about an hour and then come back. The most beautiful birds on these cays were the masked boobies, and quite entertaining as well. I ended up staying there that night, and the gentle breeze that came up after the calm spell swung 90 degrees from southwest around to the usual southeast. Oh, this is pretty fun. I've been motoring through the lagoon here in the moonlight. Flags are all nicely lit up because we now have dawn approaching, and headed to the very southern tip of this Chesterfield Reef system. It's over there. Basically can't see it later. But in the interim, there's something in the water. And we'll see when we get close up to it. It looks like a buoy of some kind. I think this was a cardinal marker for a sunken wreck. This is the most southerly of the islands in this reef system. This is called Ill Loop, and it's got quite a little bit of infrastructure on it. 2 towers, 2 boxes, and as usual, vast numbers of birds swirling around here, the noddy flying by. And oh, here's a nice city turn. Yep. Oh. And I'm anchored in all of 9 feet of water here. Sandy bottom. I'm not sure how deep the sand is, so I just let out a lot of chain. Anyway, I'm going to go in, wander around. There's clouds coming in. I think this is the beginning of the new system. It'll hopefully take me to Bundaberg in 4 days. This is the island that I spent the night at, Ilot du Passage, named for the fact that there's a pass here between it and the next one, which I can't see. Can you see just in front of the mast there? Barely. But it's a bit of an angle. We're coming in on a broad reach, and we will go to a close reach to go through. The sun is high and behind us. I can see the shallow areas, and I have a satellite image on my anchor alarm, so I think we're going to be good. You can always jibe out or start the engine. Ah, we are in the pass, and you can see the shallow water and the coral on that side. And on that side, it's quite far away still, which is good. I always like to keep the coral close enough to see it on this side. But we still have incoming tides, so I've misjudged it a little bit. It's not too bad though. We're doing 2-3 knots. We were doing 5 coming down, and there we are entering the main part of the channel. I think we're going to be okay. Here's the satellite view on my anchor alarm showing our path through the channel, and we barely saw less than 50 feet the whole way. Quite safe as indicated on the chart. And we are pretty much out of the pass. There's the island to the south, and we made it on a close reach. And the reef on the other side of the island. First time I've sailed out of a pass, and this was against incoming current too. Down to 2 knots for a long time. Now we're back to 3.5, soon we'll be up to 5. On our way to Bundaberg. 4 days hopefully. It's 11 a.m. on Monday the 24th. We want to be there by noon on Friday, the whatever that is. 28th, I guess. Let's get a hint of some of the current coming through here, swirling, twisting us around occasionally a little bit. No big deal. It's actually a pretty wide open pass, certainly compared with some of the Tuamotu passes. We are off to Bundaberg, southwest, that way. Here's the chart showing our movements around Chesterfield Reef, and in the next episode I sail to Bundaberg in Queensland as my entry port to Australia.